What's going on, guys? Today is the day for what you might ask, the day that I review Kanye's album, Jesus is King. Why am I doing this with my hands? It's the day that I review Kanye's album, and to sum it up into one word, I would have to say it's, and so many people are going to hate me for this, which is so weird when you think about it. Like, why do people hate or disrespect or judge you for you giving your personal opinion on something? 2019, am I right? So if you haven't seen it, or if you don't know, I have another channel that I am in charge of called Pastor Reacts with my dad, who's a pastor, and we react to music and a number of other things. If you want to watch all the videos, because we did the whole album, if you want to watch all those videos, click up here, and that'll be track number 1, and then you can just watch the whole album. So I've already listened to the album. That was a week ago, and now after a week of me continually, sometimes, some songs, listening to the album, I have a more cohesive, I guess, thought of what I really think overall after giving it a week of, thinking about it and listening to it. So here's what I think about the album. And let me start off on a good note. So here's what I like about the album. I like the production of the album. It's incredibly well done. I mean, it's fantastic. And that might be all I like about it. Oh man. All right, well, that was short-lived. So here's my problem with the album as a whole. So I'm going to back up a little bit and let's just take a look at Christian music. Typically in a Christian artist's life, right? There's some sort of testimony. There's some sort of story. So the story typically goes, there was point A, and you were not a Christian, you were not a believer, you were a sinner, you were living this life of whatever. And then, point B, now you're a Christian, now you're a believer, the whole gospel story. Now you're a new person. A new creation, if you will. And so typically in a Christian music artist, in a Christian album, in the Christian music industry, all they talk about is the after. There was this before, there was this after, and all they talk about is the after. They sing praise songs, they worship God, and look, you do you. That's fine. Like if you're down with that, you do you. But the Christian songs, the Christian music that I enjoy, it's not just a production thing. It's not just, does it sound good? Because we all appreciate music that sounds good, but that's not all that music is. Music is a story. And yes, Kanye is telling us where he's at, and he's doing it with statements, and good on him. I mean, that was the purpose of the album. The whole album was a statement. I get it. But that's just the thing. It's just another Christian album. And yeah, sure, Kanye is doing it. Kanye is Kanye. He's a pop culture sensation. But it's just another Christian album. And the Kanye that I've always known has always been super set apart in his music. And I'm just not getting that with this album. It's just, yes, it's Kanye, but if we take out the fact that it's Kanye, it's just another Christian album. And I get that some people appreciate that, and I get that some people are okay with that, and they like that, and they like the album. They think it's an absolute masterpiece, which is fine. But I'm going to tell you why that bugs me and why that annoys me. The pop culture worldwide sensation that Kanye is, and especially being married to another pop culture sensation, Kim Kardashian. Why wouldn't he want to lead us on that journey of the before and after, from point A to point B? He has such a huge following of people that are with him. Why not take those people along the journey with him from point A to point B? Because if that would have been done, it wouldn't have been just another Christian music album. It would have been completely set apart. It would have been something new. It would have been something, to me, that would have been a masterpiece. To me, him telling his story and his testimony would have been so much more of a powerful thing to do and a sensational thing to do, to let his audience, let the world in on his story. I mean, art is being vulnerable. Art is vulnerability. Art is letting you into these places. And I get that he didn't decide to go that route with the album. He decided to go the route of, just making statements, and less stories, more statements. Yes, there was like one song, two songs at the end of the album that kind of let us into some of that, but it wasn't what I had hoped, because I think the album, as amazing as it is production-wise, the lyrics are pretty cheesy, and there's nothing set apart about it. And I just think that Kanye, being as set apart as he is for the pop culture sensation that he is, I felt like the album would have been better reflected of him if it would have reflected that, been more set apart. Now, musically, it's, like I said, it's fantastic, but I just didn't get what I was hoping to see with this whole, I still ask the question after listening to the album a number of times. I'm like, so what happened? What was this awakening moment? Like, again, the whole Christian community is all like, this is absolutely incredible, this is amazing, this hip-hop rap artist becomes this new, Christian, on fire, passionate, and I'm like, great, but what was it? And maybe there's a video out there of him telling this entire, amazing story that lets us in on that process, but after listening to the album, I was hoping that was going to be in it. I was hoping that I didn't have to, go and watch all of this other content to know, hey Kanye, what's changed? I was hoping that he would show that through his music. And look, this is my personal opinion. This is what I think, and that's, whatever. Like, he could come out with another album 2 years from now, and even a year from now, whatever, saying this whole story, right? But with this album, I didn't get it. I didn't get it, because especially being someone who isn't a Christian, who doesn't believe in God, I'm like, I do want to be let in on those truths. I do want to be let in on that truth of, if you found something that I don't know about, I want to know about it. But no, it just turned into a whole bunch of other just making statements about, Jesus is king. And like I said, and like I've said like 100 times in this video so far, that's okay that he didn't go that route. I'm just saying, for a person like me, being where I'm at, if you've watched my videos on YouTube and you know where I'm at in this journey of finding and seeking truth, I'm like, all right, there's a dude that at one time he was atheist, or said he was atheist, and now he is not. So let us in, man. What's going on? And I really wish that there was more that I had to say about it besides that. And really, I'm just kind of summing up everything that I said throughout the videos that I already said with my dad. And so honestly, my opinion hasn't changed. It really hasn't changed at all, even from before listening to the album, because I was like, I just hoped, I gave it a chance. I was like, I hope this isn't going to be cheesy. I hope this isn't going to be like another just typical Christian album. I hope it's going to be different. I hope Kanye is going to, completely just do something incredible with this. And production-wise, he did. But story-wise and, lyrically and everything else, it just wasn't. And I was just super unimpressed, personally. And, other people completely disagree with me on that. Totally fine. With me, I guess I'm just really tired of this generic, cheesy Christian music. I'm like, it just turns into something that's just, I see it honestly as just feeding religion. And, there's nothing good about religion at all. Religion imprisons you, it binds you, it chains you. There's nothing good about religion at all. But spirituality is something a bit different. It's a bit more. And I think spirituality is not placed inside this nice little box that says this is Christianity, or this is, this is what this is supposed to look like. Spirituality is a lot more like a journey. And I got a lot of, in his album, I got a lot of religion, in which I'm just tired of, which I'm sick of, and not enough like letting me on the journey, the spiritual journey of him. Because I feel like maybe I could have benefited from that. And maybe there's a lot of other people that could have benefited from that. But it just wasn't in there, which just, again, it just made it into another Christian album. And yeah, I'm tired of this really generic, really cheesy Christian music that's just making all of these statements, and the rest of the world is like, cool, nice statements, cool. Like, people are, I feel like the world and people in general are just getting really sick with believers, with Christians who are just all the time making statements. Like, they're just blatant statements of, Jesus is king, we got everything we need. All of these statements that Kanye made on the album, and not enough of, but wait, like, let's actually have a conversation about this. Like, let's actually figure this out and talk about it. That's why I appreciate Christian music that lets us in on that journey. But that's, far and, what's that saying even, few and far between, far and few between, few in between, far, whatever, screw it. It just isn't happening. And so yeah. And that's what's frustrating about it for me. I'm like, when are, if God is real, if the church is, if that's the way to go, if Jesus is the way, the truth, and the life, like, time to let people in on that story. And I'm not just talking about the Bible, because the Bible, as misinterpreted as even the church has it, that story's been told thousands and thousands and thousands of times. When are we going to get the story from individuals who have truly experienced something that they can't comprehend, but they've walked away from it saying, I don't have to have belief and faith, but I know? When is that going to happen? And as far as I'm concerned, as long as it's not happening, and as long as, Christianity just finds a philosophy that works for them, and then they call it Christianity, aka religion, like, yeah. It's just, I'm losing my train of thought because I'm just so fed up and frustrated with it. Honestly, it's like the problems in the church of people just finding a philosophy and a mantra, some sort of meaning, something that's a philosophy. Really, it's just a philosophy that means something to them, is becoming their version of Christianity, and it's just more religion, and it's being spread out through the Christian music, and it's not good at all. And it's not actually helping anybody. I mean, it's making the Christians happy, but it's not actually, it's not actually spreading the gospel. And what does that look like, And I don't think spreading the gospel is making these statements and just saying, Jesus is king. I just wish that he would have let us in on the journey in his music, plain and simple. And I think it's just another Christian album. So, you can disagree with me on that. That's fine, whatever. I've already gotten a lot of backlash for what I think about it. Totally fine. But yeah, those are my thoughts. That's what I think. Maybe you agree, maybe you don't. I would say comment below your thoughts. I know you're going to do it anyway. And I usually say I love to hear your thoughts. But on the comments that I've been reading on the Pastor React videos, I'm not, it's frustrating. But if you like this video, you can subscribe to me. And I think that's the end of the rant. So, all right. Well, that's that. Yeah. Peace out.